you take only for this day. You have taken it for the next day, and that also a medicine when the doctor was not present. You read it. God lived with them. That is the book in which I have read this story. They lived with God and God lived with them. There are 2 volumes of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's devotees. That is the level of apagriha to be practiced, and then you can think of practicing integral yoga. Not before that. The 4 are clear now: personal, family and social. Permanent ethic, the example of aparigraha of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And then of course the highest divine, he is the example. How the divine works and how the ethic works. You see the gradation between Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and. So for all our great people in India, there is a link, because nature never repeats itself, you remember it. Even in twins, their thumb impressions differ. And do you think that all these great souls have the same type of life? No. They are different chapters in yoga. And you should know where to place them where. Next. The divine manifests himself in 2 ways, Vyashti and Samishti. This is where the present sense of living is lacking. Even though they live in multi-storied flats, the individual families are also become individualized. Don't live a Vyashti life. But nature is forcing you to live in flats. If you can understand, all life becomes yoga in this way. You have to mold your activities. If you are living in a multi-storied building, and if even does not know who is living just by the side of you, that means the forces, the world forces, which are forcing you to live in a multi-flat have failed. And you remember, nature cannot fail. What it can do is, it can remold you, breaking you and beating you. So instead of getting beaten up by nature, try to understand what is Vyashti and Samishti. Man in him has 2 distinct master impulses: individualistic, communal, a personal life and a social life, a personal motive of conduct and a social motive of conduct. Clear? Next. Jump. Against this danger of suppression and immobilization, nature in the individual reacts. Now what happens? You try to understand. I have an individual life. I have a social life. The social life tries to control your emotions and desires and thoughts so that you will not misuse them. But you can use them for your benefit if you do not disturb the other man, if you don't create a himsa in other man. But what happens if you are only the mental body, the vital body and the physical body? The social laws would have been all right. You have your own physical, astral and mental bodies. The other man, he's got his. I will put Chaitya Purusha for all these 3. Is it okay? When I say Chaitya Purusha, can you remember that I am talking about the 3 Purushas in one? So you have your Chaitya Purusha, I have my Chaitya Purusha, and the entire society has got its own separate Chaitya Purushas. And the laws of the society are in such way developed that you can have your personal satisfaction, but you cannot harm others. If you harm others, your personal conduct, your freedom is gone. But think about the planes in which the different bodies of the Chaitya Purusha are. Just as your Annamaya Purusha is here, you have a Pranamaya Purusha in the vital plane, Manomaya Purusha in the mental plane, and there you have your own rules, your own societies, and they are at a higher plane than this plane. Then what happens? The individual revolts, and that revolt may be something which we don't like, just as now what is happening, or he may become an ascetic. And that is why we find in the history of yoga a very savage man like Ratnakar becoming a very great ascetic. Because it is a revolt. The revolt was in another form, the revolt was in another form. And now do you understand why Sri Aurobindo wanted his vision that this science must go to the world? Because if it doesn't go to the world will become a criminal society as it is happening now, because it doesn't have an ideal. And asceticism is not an ideal. It is the ideal of the past. 5,000 years ago, renunciation was okay, but not now. Can you understand what word we have to take to the world? Next. The brackets are gone. You remember these three: love, truth, and justice. These words, you go on meditating every day. I don't know whether you have started writing the diary or not, but you have to do it. Just hearing will never help. So you meditate on these three words: what is love, what is truth, and what is justice. Love, of course, dominates the vital plane. Truth dominates the mental plane. And justice dominates the physical plane. So these three names are the crystallized power sources. So whenever you want to know what you are doing in the physical plane is right or wrong, think about the word justice. If you want to know what you are doing in your desire plane, bhakti yoga, think about the word love. And if you want to know what is correct in the mental plane, it is the truth. And this, in samadhi, we will deal more with these three words. And if I forget to tell about it, please remind me. Nyaya, physical plane; prema, vital plane; truth, mental plane. And these single words denote the entire knowledge. Just as if you say MA English, we know you are a master of English. Those two words is enough to know that you know everything about English. Is it not? Similarly, when you know love, you know the yoga of bhakti. If you know nyaya, justice, you know the divine works yoga, karma yoga. And if you know truth, what is it you know? You know the jnana yoga. Yes. Come back, Amma. Right. What is justice actually? Suppose I am eating and I am asked to do justice in eating. We use that word, na? What do you mean by that? Eat more or eat less or?
Necessary and sufficient.
That is nyaya. In every level in the physical plane, whatever you do. Suppose I just balance it here. At the center of gravity, there is justice. The moment the center of gravity is gone, it can't stay there. It falls down. Right?
What is that? Sanskrit word?
Nyaya. Nyaya. There is a darshan there as Nyaya darshan. There are Shad darshanas in which that Nyaya darshan is a very important thing for karma yoga. Right? Okay? Now, just as you know that the higher includes the lower, this is a fact throughout the universe. If you have 10 rupees, it means, if you say 10, it means 9 is included there. If you say 100, it means 90 is also